Welcome to this tutorial First Steps for TraNET FE devices and TranAX software. First of all, I would like to give you a brief overview of the TraNET FE devices. The devices are available in different versions as the picture here shows. Basically, the functionality and operation is identical for all devices. The TraNET FE devices have been around for a good 15 years. This introduction here only refers to the latest generation MK3. This is easily recognizable by the USB port on the front of the device. Let's have a look on the front elements. We start with the Ethernet port. There you can make a connection either one-to-one or via a network switch to a PC. The USB port is for an external hard drive to save measurement data. The Ethernet LED is showing you if the Ethernet connection is established. Red means there is no connection and green is showing everything is okay. The HD LED is showing if there is any internal hard disk access. The armed and recording LED correspond to the actual measurement state. The ready LED is flashing every second if the device is in a good condition and everything is okay. The Ethernet reset button can be used to reset the network setting back to DHCP. Let's have a look to the rear side of the device. This view may vary slightly depending on the device type and option. The power button should always be used to switch the device on and off. This is the only way to shut down the device correctly. The digital I/O connector is for additional I/O such as trigger in and trigger out. If the marker option is available, the digital inputs must be connected here. The SyncLink connector is for connecting a SyncLink box for synchronizing several TraNET FE devices. The 12-volt socket can be used as a power supply, for example for powering a SyncLink box. The ground is an additional ground connection to shield the device even better than just via the power plug. The TraNET FE devices are always delivered with a default IP address. This IP address is also noted on the back of the device. It is always 192.168.0.33. The attached computer must be in the same IP range. Just change the last number to 20, for example, instead of 33. You see on the right side how to change the IP address for Windows 10. It is slightly different for Windows 11, but I think you will find out how to configure your IP address based on these slides. The device has a built-in web server. For changing the IP address of your device, you have to go to this website. Just type in your web browser the IP address of your device and go in the menu to LAN configuration. On this page you can change the static IP address, or if you like you can enable DHCP or Auto IP. Here you see some explanation how DHCP and Auto IP is working. Let's go to the TranAX software. A TranAX license can be used for two systems, for example for the test system in laboratory and an additional office computer. The full version license must be activated either online or offline. Without activation, the software will switch to the TranAX LE version after 30 days. This table is showing you the difference between the full version and the TranAX LE version. Mainly there is only one waveform in the LE version, there is no FFT and no video synchronization and no measurement flow control available in the LE version. TranAX can be downloaded from our website to get the actual version, or it is always delivered also on the USB key. Let's get through the license activation process. First, you have to know that for activating the software you need administration right. Otherwise, the software cannot be activated. The activation can be done online or offline. If you have internet connection and your firewall is allowing you to connect to the internet, use the online activation. For the offline activation, enter your license code from the manual or the USB stick to the field activation key. To generate a valid computer key, the computer ID must be sent to the LSYS instruments for the activation. Please send an email to info@lsys.ch. It is also possible to just click on the QR code. This will copy the graphics to the Windows clipboard and can be passed into an email. If it is a valid request for a key, the matching computer key will be sent back per mail and has to be entered into the field computer key. Click the button Activate and TranAX will be activated to the full version. The online activation is quite easy. Just enter your license code in the activation key and click Activate. If you like to transfer your license to another computer, you can release it, but for this you need an internet connection. I've just downloaded the software from our website and started the installer. After accepting the end user agreement, the installer asks for the default location. Normally, I just click on Next. Then I have to choose the language. This can also be changed later on. I select here English. I can select if I want to install the examples, the brochure service for discovering TraNET FE device in the network, and also the plugin for Excel for importing TPC file directly in Excel. The application asks then for another location for the default path for your experiment, which is normally your document folder. The last folder is where the settings are stored and also where normally the templates are located. Last question, you just click on the Next and then the installer is installing the software. If you enable it, the Excel importer, another setting is running for installing the plugin. Once the installation has finished, the software is asking for the license activation. Here you can either use the online activation or the offline activation as explained before in the slides. If you don't have a license, don't panic, you can use the free version, and the software is also running for 30 days at the full version and then switch back to the LE version. So if you don't have a license, just close this dialog. Once done, click on Finish and TranAX software is starting. At each start, the software is showing you a quick tip. If you don't like that, you can turn it off. Now we can see the start screen of TranAX. Next step is to check if you are connected to a device. You see here in the middle there's a message saying no device connected. So I have to click on the button Redefine Device Connection to make a search in the network. It will look for connected device in the network. As you can see, I have one device in the network. I have to select the line and then click on Connect. On some network, the discovery protocol is not working due to the firewall. Then you can try to connect to your device by typing manually the IP address and then click on Connect manually. But if you can see it on the list, then select the line and click on Connect. So now the IP address of our device is listed in the connected box, and now we have to start with a new experiment. With the installation, there are several templates installed with, which can be used as starting point for your measurement. In this example, we start from the scope example. We type a name for our experiment. and you see the default path of our experiment is in our document folder in the subfolder TranAX. You can also give a description to your experiment if you want to give more details. So now the software started with the scope templates. Now a short introduction about several parts from the software. In the middle you see the waveform. That's the place where your data are shown. In the top you have a ribbon bar where you can find all the elements for displaying more waveforms, scalar tables or other windows. Here on the right side you see a so-called scalar table. For configuring the hardware we need the control panel. The control panel can be opened either over the ribbon bar, click on control panel, or there is a little icon on the top. Clicking on it and you see the hardware channel from your connected device. Another important window which is not yet open is the signal source browser. In the signal source browser you can reload your stored data. It can be opened either through the ribbon bar layout and then go to signal source browser, or there is also a little icon in the top of the software. All graphic elements can be resized and the position can be changed by just clicking on the boundaries of the different parts. There are also windows which have this little pin, which then can be pinned to a left side or on the bottom. So the signal source browser, for example, has one, or also the control panel can be pinned, and then you see it on the bottom and click again for showing it up again. Parts can also replace by drag and drop, so clicking on the top of the window and then you see these arrows showing up and you can place it at a different place. For example, the control panel on the right side to just have the channel list, you can bring it back. Or also the scalar table can be placed on the bottom of a window. So it depends on the number of channels that you want to see and also on your size of your screen, what's the best. All these settings, the placement of these windows is stored in the experiment. In our waveform there are already 4 channels, but our device has 8 channels. So how to bring up the channels in your waveform? In the control panel you have a black line after the name of the channels. On the left side, if you click on a channel, you can drag and drop it to a waveform. If you click on the right side, the channels are selected. So click on the left side and drag your channel in the waveform. Now we want to start a new measurement. More detailed about measurement mode will follow on other videos. Our device is at the moment configured for scope measurement with 1 megasample sampling rate and a block length of 8 kilosamples. And the auto trigger is turned off. We start the measurement and you see on the bottom that the recording is armed, and also in the top the little man is waiting for the trigger. As there is no signal triggering the device is waiting. If you activate the auto trigger, the software will give some triggers and you see the measurement is running. In the waveform you can move around your measurement. You can zoom in and zoom out. You can zoom only in the X or only in the Y direction. And to bring back the full measurement again, there are little buttons on the bottom making full scale in the X and in the Y direction. We now stop the measurement, and what you see in the waveform is actually the data coming from the hardware. So if you turn off the device, the data are gone. So we have to store it to a file. And for this, you have to go Store Data and then select Save TPC5, which is the default standard for waveform data. Then you can select which curve you want to store in the file. So click on the arrow to bring the curve to the right side. You can also select if you want to store everything or only between cursor or only the visible parts. And then we click OK and you give a name to your file. As you can see, we are in the data folder of your experiment. We click on save and the data are saved to your hard drive. Now we have to bring it back in the software. For that we need the single source browser. We are here in our experiment structure and you see here the folder data. If we open it, you see the just stored file, and you can also open it to see which channels are stored in the file. Now I change the size of our waveform and open the second waveform in which I bring back the stored data. You can either drag and drop only one channel, or also I remove it again and then you bring back the full file. You see in the lead chain on the right that the data are coming from the file. Now we are finished and I want to check if I close the software and reopen it again if I get back everything. So I've closed the software, I restart the software again. And now you see there is your experiment in the recent experiment list. I can click directly on it for open it. As you can see, the layout, as we called here, the arrangement of the waveforms is exactly as we have left the software before.